people are setting their New Year's resolutions. We want to help you reach your goals for 2026. So today we're talking with Michael Cain, Health and Fitness Manager with Cone Health Sagewell Health and Fitness, about how to set realistic expectations. That's the key word there. How do we be realistic about our goals? Sir, can you hear me there?
I can hear you. Hey, Ben. Glad to
Hey,
be here. Glad to help out.
what do we do
Go
to
ahead.
make sure our goals are realistic?
Realistic? Well, it's really important to make sure that you set SMART goals, right? We always heard SMART, the acronym. Make sure that they're specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, realistic, and some sort of a timeline, time sensitive, right? That's really, really important. It's important for a lot of reasons. Number one, it keeps us on track. It's like our GPS, right? If we go off track a little bit, GPS in our car kind of brings us, reroutes us. We're able to do that. It's also a way to celebrate all the little successes along the way. That's really important too.
It sounds like you have a plan there to set up little micro goals along the way. Can you give me an example?
Micro goal will be something like maybe doing one push-up a day, right? And then work your way up there. You know, here we toss around the term least amount of work principle a lot. That sounds pretty good, right? Least amount of work. But what it means is that you do the least amount of work above what you've been doing to initiate that change that you want and allow for your body to adapt to that workload as quickly as possible. Add a little bit more work, adapt, a little bit more work, adapt. Therefore, you're teaching your body to expect change because it's happening so readily.
So you're talking about starting something new, but a lot of people set their goals of stopping, like I want to stop smoking or I want to stop eating fast food. Which is better for you?
Well, I think it's easier to stop something than it is to start something, but I think they're sort of intertwined. For instance, if your goal is to stop overeating and your goal is also to get more exercise, well, you're probably not going to sit down to a huge meal right before you go to an exercise class, right? Or if your goal is to drink more water and your goal is to exercise, well, typically when you exercise more, you start drinking more water, right? Or sleep. You know, oftentimes we say we want to sleep more, sleep better. Well, exercise has been proven to improve your sleep cycle. So they kind of intertwine there.
So it's okay to have more than one resolution. I think a lot of people feel like that's so much to tackle.
Yeah, but I would say that you know in the beginning it's really easy to become overzealous and do too much, right? So I think it's important to set those small goals and chip at them little by little.
So I'm not going to lose 30 pounds in a month then. That's what you're telling me.
No, that's what we call the island of distant goals way out there, and it's easy to look through the binoculars at those island distant goals when you set them up because they're in close focus, right? But when you take the binoculars off, that island seems far away. So the important thing is to stay motivated along the way to get to that island, right? Because there's going to be obstacles along the way, there's going to be challenges along the way. So my advice is to get someone in that boat with you while you're paddling out to that island, right? Someone to motivate you, someone to challenge you, to help you get through those hard times, to make sure that you stay focused and get to your goal.
Listen, I'd never make it to the gym without my gym friends, so I get that for sure. Hey, a lot of us still want some really quick results, though. Is there a small change we can make to get some kind of fast result to motivate us?
Yeah, I mean, small changes, you know, just getting to the gym in and of itself is a small change, right? So, you know, focus on those little tiny goals to get there. I think that's really, really important.
A lot of people start really strong, they know what they want, and then it fades off fast. What advice do you have for them?
I would advise them to do unaccustomed exercise. Oftentimes, we become very emotionally attached to certain exercises, certain instructors, and things like that, and then we sort of do really well in the beginning, and we think it's a really good thing to do to continue. But for efficacy and for safety, we should probably change that up. You know, unaccustomed exercise is what promotes change in the body. So trying different things, making sure that you don't ever hit that plateau and you're staying in a phase of adaptation so you can continue and grow and head towards your goal.
So how do you keep finding new things to do? Where should we look?
Yeah, I think it's really important to look for different things in the gym. I mean, if you're going to a fitness center, you've got a lot of different types of classes. You've got aquatics classes, you've got land-based classes, you got different programs, personal training. Um, there's a lot of different ways to do that. I think working with a buddy, a workout buddy, is really, really important too, because that way you guys can stay focused together and look for different things.
You've already given us great advice about have a buddy. That's a huge help. But what if it comes like March or April and the goal's just not working? When do you know to switch it up?
Yeah, I think it's really important to identify that early before you hit that plateau and you start getting burnt out. So the body will neurally adapt to exercise, every 4 to 6 weeks. So about a 6 week time frame is when you should start thinking about changing up your routine.
Are there any healthy to-dos that most people don't think about that would be good for New Year's resolutions?
Healthy to-dos? I'm sorry, you said
Yeah,
to-dos?
yeah, like are there healthy things that most people don't put on their New Year's resolutions that they should?
Oh, yeah. I think it's important to think in terms of whole person wellness too. When you're thinking about, we talked a lot about that physical piece, which is a huge part of your wellness wheel, if you want to call it that. But you got to look at your spiritual wellness, emotional wellness. How are you feeling, especially getting after the holidays? That can be very stressful. What are you doing for stress relief? What are you doing for recovery? A lot of times, um, people's lack of success or failures for that matter are attributed to overtraining and not undertraining, not giving themselves enough rest and recovery. So recovery is really, really important when it comes to exercise.
How much recovery do you actually need after you work out?
Well, people ask me that, how often do you work out? And I say, well, I work out when my body's ready to be worked out again. So that kind of determines how, or depends on how much or how hard you work out, right? So if you're going to be working out 3 days a week, you definitely want to give yourself a couple days to rest, recover, get that good night's sleep so you can hit that next week just as hard as you did the previous week.
What resources are available over at Cone Health to help us with all these goals?
We have a lot of resources on conehealth.com. You'll see, I think that a lot of, you should get with your primary as far as getting all your shots and your screenings done. That's really, really important as we start to get into the New Year's. We have a lot of, at Sagewell, for instance, we have a lot of programs coming up in January. Um, Kids programs, we have youth programs coming up, a lot of different types of training coming up. And a lot of gyms out there are offering discounts on memberships and things like that. For instance, at Sagewell, we're offering 50% off enrollment starting in January.
So if you join a gym and you walk in for the first time, how do you not be intimidated by it?
That's a great question. And I think the best way to do that is to work with a personal trainer. Um, a trainer or health fitness specialist, we have them available here at Sagewell that can kind of guide you and give you orientation to the equipment, make you feel comfortable in the space, introduce you to new members, so you create friends, and that's really, really important as you start to enter into a new space. It kind of feels uncomfortable and scary, and so I think that's a really good way to get introduced into the gym setting.
What if you can't afford a trainer? Are there other options?
There are. In fact, here at Sagewell, we have health fitness specialists that are scheduled on the floor um, all the time. There's always someone available to help you. So even if you feel uncomfortable coming in, you can always grab one of our health fitness specialists and they can guide you through there, free of charge.
Well, thank you so much. We're all very excited about the new year and now we're prepared. So we appreciate it. If you have a New Year's resolution, by the way, I'd love to know what it is. Let me know on Facebook because I'm still trying to come up with mine. Thank you so much for being here, sir.
Thank you.